I am in the kitchen right now, and I should be showing you guys how to make one of my favorite dishes. But since I don't know how to cook, I'm here to tell you guys, if you guys can please go subscribe right here down below. It takes you about 10 seconds. Hit the subscribe button. That's our way of knowing we're doing a great job by you guys subscribing to our channel. This is our road to 100K subscribers. And the only way we can obtain that and reach that is by you guys clicking down here. We appreciate it, and that gives us a little reinforcement that the conversations we're having, the guests that we're bringing on, and what we're doing is something you guys are loving and enjoying. So please hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into the episode.
Man, A Toast to Life podcast, most authentic, most organic podcast out here. It's because people are still sleeping. Nah, it's already 2 o'clock. People are already partying downstairs.
1:30.
Man, we are in the beautiful city of San Diego. Like I mentioned before, we're doing a little vlog. We're posting if you're staying at tanto with our Instagram. And we have one of our dearest friends, one of the guys that just believed in us and gave us an opportunity when he had no need to, didn't know us anything. The one and only Jose, aka your social media guy.
Back in here. In another season.
This is episode 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Us by ourselves,
right.
with Dre, you and your wife, and now
Today. That's crazy.
today, bro.
That's how you know it's love. You know what I mean?
There's always something like going on, and every time we have a conversation, it's anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, and it's just kind of like, oh shit, my bad.
Yeah, I think now what we do is we don't even talk before the cameras get rolling. You know, it's like what the.
I know.
Yeah.
Conversation's done.
Yeah.
I told Pepe about this yesterday, and I'm hitting you off of left field here, but I do want to start this podcast.
Okay.
I know your relationship with God. I was wondering if you can bless us with a little prayer before we get started.
Sheesh. Let's do it.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Thank you.
Whack him out. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for this day. Thank you for allowing us to create this space. Give us the strength, the wisdom, and the knowledge to be able to glorify you, Father, in these messages that we continue to put into the world. Don't let it be about us. Let it be about you. Work through us. Talk through us, Father God. Let us be an example of, what it is to live a life Christ-like, not, just of this world. Give us the peace of mind, the clarity, and the focus to be centered in you so that we may not get lost in this world that's deceitful. Thank you, Father God, for Dusko, for Pepe, for creating this space to be able to speak to millions of people and empower them and encourage them to continue to walk in their light and in their purpose, and to, recreate their life into a more positive outlook and one that is, reflecting of you, Father God. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for my brothers. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Woo. Never done before on this pod, man, but algo me dijo. This is going to be a very purposeful conversation, very intentional, as we always love to say. And so for the people that do not know you or getting to know you, our new followers, new subscribers, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so, I have a content company called Visionary Media. I have, obviously, YouTube channel, create content online, social media. More than anything, now I'm transitioning to really understanding what my purpose is in life, obviously walking through Christ now. But yeah, that already within itself is a whole other kind of worms that it's super complex and intricate to just be able to explain it in a single word. But yeah, father, husband.
We've sat with you, 3 other times before?
Yeah.
You said it 4th today? Yeah. Why now? Why are you finding your purpose? Why are you finding your purpose now? What do you think changed in life that now you're like, damn, what is my purpose?
I think it was like a switch, to be honest. It was like discernment, because now that I've gotten the time to kind of sit in it and walk in it, it's like I can go back to other areas of my life where I was, maybe that seed was planted and then it got watered a little bit more and then it got watered a little bit more and then I had to fall on my face and then, it just continues. It's like an evolution, Me and my family were just watching The Prince of Egypt yesterday because it's a movie that stuck with me as a very young age. It talks about the story of Moses. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, dang, it made me emotional because it's like, I think a lot of the times we've all been given an opportunity or a platform or just something, right? A gift. And then in that gift, you start to kind of lose yourself. So you start to think that it's for personal reasons or it's for me or it's because of you. But in reality, it was because you're a vessel to be able to open up a door for so many more people. And obviously in him, he kind of, for, 20 something years, he was living in the palace, living, the wealthy life, no worries, no stress, no nothing. And then when he came to the realization of like, this isn't really who I am, he went to this whole transition period and evolution. And then he remembered that his whole purpose was to save his people from, slavery and guide them to the promised land. And I think that was like a reminder for me of like, I went through something like that, right? Because you start to become successful. Obviously, you come from nothing. You aspire to have a couple things here and there. And then once you have them, it's like, oh, look at me. Look what I've done. Look at, my platforms, X, Y, and Z. And then, it was just like a reminder. I think he just like, turned on the switch again.
What's that? Because you're a father, you're a husband, you're an entrepreneur, a leader. What are a couple things, or maybe the top 3 things that are your non-negotiables now through your journey of business owning, being a family man, being a father? What are your top 3 things in order for you to keep your life purposeful? That, because I feel like that's something we all struggle with. We are on track to be, oh yeah, I'm in my zone right now, and then a couple months later, a couple weeks later, you get so burnt out. And I always feel like when people get burnt out right away, it's because it's not something they really want to be doing. It's not something they really love. It's not something that es nace del corazón. I've tried so many times, tried to become something that I really wasn't, until now where I'm at, I'm in my zone, I'm purposeful, I'm intentional. And yeah, I have times where I do get a little tired, but it's not like I'm tired and be like, nah, I want to quit. It's like, oh man, I asked for this and I'm really grateful for this. And this comes with it. But so to my point, 3 things that you've learned that has kept your life intentional, purposeful, and aligned.
I think it's obviously accountability, making sure that my actions, reflect more of him, because obviously like I'm still in the transition of like dying to myself. And what I mean by that is like, there's certain habits, certain things, maybe the way that I speak, maybe things that I give value to, that I'm still trying to understand the complexities of it. Okay. Is this for my purpose, or is this taking me away from it? So it's always making sure that, if it's for his glory, obviously having him hold me accountable, I always pray for it. Obviously, I'm going to continue to move because I know that he gave me this gift for a reason. So I'm going to continue to walk that path, but always, ask for forgiveness if I'm moving in the wrong direction, to let me know. But I also, if I am going in the right direction and I'm maybe allowing my thoughts to kind of overcomplicate, my next step, to give me the peace of mind to just have that clarity to be able to take that step. Obviously, I'm getting more into the Bible and really understanding like the complexities of it, because it's so deep and it's bigger than sometimes we think. I think a lot of times when I was younger, we all have had, these maybe relatives or friends where they've been deeply into the church, and they're like, oh, eso es del diablo, you know what I mean? You're like, man, like they're crazy, but once you really start to like understand like that this is a spiritual battle that we're all going through, it really is heavier and it really is that deep.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of us, or a lot of people, they fight that instant gratification, which it comes with a lot of. Hopefully, I'm using it right. Pepe, correct me if I'm wrong. But like
I need to correct myself.
but like lust, right? Like I want to fit the image that I feel everybody would be proud of me, look up to me, and congratulate me. When a lot of those things lead to such emptiness.
Yes, bro.
Which is, money is very important in living a great life and having opportunities. But if you don't have like your foundation set in, like your relationships intact, your friendships intact, your inner spiritual intact, at one point you're just gonna crash and just be like, I'm done, bro. I can't no more.
I feel like that's why isolation is so important. I think in this season when I got isolated, I didn't understand it. I was like, I need to get back out there. I'm trying to like, again, get back to the normal me. But then I realized that, there's a reason why he isolates you, because a lot of the times, like when you're like you said, right, where you're in the world and you maybe have attention, you have status, you have fame, you have maybe women after you, etc. You don't really know like what it's really doing to you. Like in that moment, it might feel like, okay, this is good. This kind of gives me that low dopamine. But like you said, right, once you're back in your room by yourself, it's like you start having all these doubts, not doubts, but like these thoughts of like, what am I doing? Like you kind of start digging yourself into this like deeper hole, you know, and then you don't realize that these quick fixes are only making that hole bigger and bigger and bigger until you become quote unquote depressed, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that has a lot to do with, like you said, the people that are around you. You know, isolating yourself is a very important thing. Even something as simple as music. Whenever we listen to music, like, what does it make us feel?
Yeah.
Does it make us escape from the things that we know we need to address, or does it give us a space to be able to do it? You know, it's funny. I want to bring this up because I'm pretty sure your daughter has been doing this too. That K-pop movie that came out, the
Demon Hunters.
The Demon Hunter, something like that. Yeah. She kept hearing it, you know, and sometimes I'd be working out, hear it in the background. I'm like, you know what? Let me actually sit and like kind of see what this really is about. If she should be watching this or not, because they're bringing up the word demons and this and that. So I'm like, what is she listening to, right? Yeah. But the whole purpose of it, essentially, it's like the music does have power. You know, a lot of times people don't realize, but Lucifer was the angel of like music. You know, that was his gift. He was like, if you go on the Bible, he basically says that he had the prettiest voice of like thousands of angels, etc. Right? So there is power in music. It's like what you listen to, you know, you start getting hyped up. Or maybe if you were in a breakup and you start listening, you know, Tragos de Amargo Licor, you know, it might make you take a couple more, and then it just continues to feed up on that pain, and that pain creates shame, right? And that shame is what the enemy uses to keep you trapped in that same vicious cycle over and over and over again.
Damn. You know? We're changing our music. Yeah, no, 100%, because, you know, as the moment you mention music, I don't know, off the top of my head, I can't remember the artist, but it's a very sad song, and it's very just emotional in the sense of like you yourself, when it's like, losing somebody, where, you know, how do I say goodbye to someone that I used to be so close to? And when I listen to that, and when I listen to other songs, sometimes it puts you in a position, or it puts you in a moment where either you're reflecting on past times and missing somebody that was in your life that served a great purpose in your life, or you being stuck in a position where you also need change. Like, this is your body crying out for help, and it leads into like your depression. And it's, you know, it's something we've always talked about, something we always bring up.
Encourage.
What changed?
Not encourage depression, but
yeah,
speak about it, you know?
Yeah. like what changed, I think, in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, Steven Furtick.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't him. Trent Shelton speaks about functional depression. And he explained functional depression. So for the people that don't know what that is, it's basically where you keep going no matter what the day looks like, no matter who's around you, no matter how you're feeling, because you know you need to serve your people, take care of others, and there's no option to stop. And no one can see how sad you are. No one can see how empty you are. No one can see that you're really struggling with yourself. And it's a scary place to be in. And it had me thinking of how many people do I know battle not outside noise, battle themselves, battle that inner voice, that inner child that's just screaming for help, but because of how they are serving others, they choose to stay quiet. They choose to not say anything, not because they know nobody cares, but because they don't want to worry the people that really care about them. Like, I love you to death. I love you guys to death. But if I tell you what I'm going through, and I already know you guys have a busy life, take care of others, I don't want you guys to be like, damn, my brother's struggling. I got to be there for him. I got to now add another. So I was like, why do I want to worry other people? So,
but that's the thing, though. It's like, that's when you talk to God.
Yep.
You know, because who else is, I can't give you like the perfect answer. I might give you answers based on my certain situations or understanding, but my understanding is limited, you know? And I think a lot of the times too, it's like one of the things that helped me was understanding that the pressure that I felt, kind of like what you said, right? Because I don't like speaking about it because then I feel vulnerable, I feel weak, etc. Right? People might use that as like a tool to, I don't know, whatever, right?
We've
Until
been there too.
yeah, exactly. Until I realized that like that is my cross to carry. You know, if you really analyze Jesus's
Can,
like,
can you put that part in there? 'Cause
Yeah.
we talked about it in a phone call, but you told me this and it stuck with me that this is your cross to carry.
Yeah.
So can you paint that picture, bro?
Yeah,
please?
it's like every single. If you really analyze like Jesus' story, it was nothing but pain through the whole entire thing, and he did it, and he went through one of the harshest deaths, if not the harshest death, for us out of love, because he understand that if he didn't, we were all gonna suffer in that same way, right? And we're all gonna be condemned. So I think a lot of the times we're all given this weight and this pressure and this responsibility that oftentimes when we ignore it, it becomes depression, it becomes anxiety. But those are just reflections of what you're not living up to, you know? And until you accept that life isn't perfect, regardless of what you see on social media, everybody struggles with something, everybody's dealing with something, everybody has a sense of responsibility, self doubt, you know, all these things, right? You fill in the blank with whatever you have. But the moment that you understand that, it's like, hey, this cross wasn't meant to crumble me. It was meant to allow for me to be an inspiration to the world and, you know, show God's grace. Like, that's when things change, because now it's like, hey, if I take this cross, who am I saving from this? Yeah. My children, my wife, their children's children, etc. And so I think through that, it gave me the peace of mind of knowing like, hey, I do this with honor and my pain isn't in vain. It's actually for a purpose. And that is why I think a lot of us have such a hard time, you know, walking with Christ. And I say this about myself too as well, because there is so much responsibility that comes with it, a lot of pressure, and it's painful. A lot of times people think that when you come to God, it's all just, you know, sunshines and rainbows, but it's not. It's like a complete teardown of who you thought you were, your identity, understanding your purpose, what you're even meant, you know, to do in this world, and realizing that, you know, God didn't become, you know, our savior without going through a lot of pain.
Yeah, he breaks you in order to build you into what you need to be and become at that moment of your life.
Yeah.
And it's just, it changes, you know, in seasons. You're one way this time, but in a couple months, in a year or two, you're gonna be a whole different person. But he gives you the opportunity to become that. Like, here it is. Like, I know you want success. I know you want love. This, I'm gonna put you in the situations so you can become that. Mm-hmm. But that's up to you now. Mm-hmm. I did my part. Now it's up to you. So, I always tell people, and we've heard it many times, and this is just where all of our listeners, where I just, if you're feeling this, please go comment on it. But you can't come to him only when you have a problem. You got to be there through it all, right? Like, even once he gets you out of that situation, whatever it may be, it's not like, hey, I'll see you later. It's, all right, well, thank you for doing that for me. Now let's go on to the next step. Stay with me. And this is my learning curve. I don't know how to do this. This is my first time now in this situation or in this chapter of my life. Just stay with me and guide me. So, Pepe, sorry. Pepe.
No, I mean, you said it. No, but was there a specific reason? Because you've been spiritual pretty much for, what, as long as I can remember. Mm-hmm. You've had that belief in God. Mm-hmm. But was there a specific situation recently that just made you become even more spiritual and just surrender to him?
That's a great question, bro. I don't know. I think we all have this understanding that obviously we believe in a God, right? We believe in God, but believing and walking in those steps is two totally different things, you know? I don't know. Like, it's like a switch. Like I was saying, that's why I keep bringing up the word switch, because it was just like a moment where it's like, boom, you know, it's time, you know, it's like it's your turn, you know. I don't know. It's just like it's called like spiritual conviction, right? It's like a moment where you just wake up and something just switches and it's game on, you know.
And I've always figured, like, trying to explain to somebody what my turning point was. Like, obviously, this wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, in these couple weeks in this time frame, I'm gonna change. It was like one of those. It was like one of those days I just woke up and I was like, I'm tired of my own shit. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being this way, because I know it's cool, but I know it's leading me to a lot of emptiness. Mm-hmm. And when I'm alone and I'm in the quiet and it's just me, I'm with horrible company. I don't love myself. I don't see myself as worthy enough to have the love that I have around me, even be called a parent. Because it wasn't that I'm not there, but I know once I leave them, I'm not being that great representation of them. Like, that's my dad, or that's my friend, that's my son. Like, I'm not, none of that. And it's one of those where, like, one day I just walked in and I told everybody, I'm done. This is not the way I'm going to be. I'm going to change. And it's like, in a super sense, I cold turkey. I can't do this no more. If you love me, great. And if this changes the way you feel about me, it is what it is. Yeah. So I think it leads also back to the type of relationships that you have around you, your friendships. Bro. And we've asked this, I think, out of the 5 last episodes, in 3, and it went very well. And if you follow us, you know the question may be, what do you consider a friend, a true friend?
Man, that's such a heavy question, because obviously the dynamics change. Obviously the closer you got, but I think more than anything, it's like, I think foundationally, both of you guys are amazing human beings, right? Regardless of our flaws, individually, right? I think your heart obviously speaks volume. I think that's one of the things where obviously we're always going to fall short. We're always going to struggle. But definitely your heart, how you treat people, what things matter to you more than others. I think those are important things. I think, one of the people that I'm extremely, extremely grateful for is somebody that like helped me even get closer to God and have a deeper understanding of my why was Ivan. He's one of my clients, also obviously a friend and a mentor, but he's like probably as close to like a representation of a man walking in Christ is. Obviously he's firm. He's gonna, lead with, how would you say it, with like courage, but he's also on the back end. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't see, how heavy his weight is, and seeing him just kind of do it as gracefully as possible with all the pressure and responsibility that he has, keeping his family together, building them, obviously in Christ too as well. It's been a great example for me, because I think I've also had negative experiences where, the same people that maybe got me closer to God were probably the ones that hurt me the most, and I think not to shame them, right? Because like I said, we're all flawed. We're all going to fall short. I remember claiming, to be Christian, years back, only to still be living in the world, and so I can't say, I can't be a hypocrite. You know what I mean? We're all always going to fall short, but obviously, being in friendships with people that are actually walking that path, and give you an understanding of a visual of like what it is to be that, and being okay with the isolation process of it, And so, I mean, I haven't really been posting out content or even creating spaces like this where before it would be an intentional thing for me, to get my message out there and stuff like that. And so even this happened all naturally. And so I don't know where I was going with that, but at the same time, it's like be around people who are actually trying to be better, that are trying to die to themselves, because it's such a painful process, because we all want to be, we all want the fancy things in life. We all want the money. We all want the statuses, whatever that, category might be for you. But at the end of the day, just know that this is a temporary life, and this is a test for us to get an opportunity, obviously, to go to heaven. At the end of the day, it's like walk with people that are going to help you get closer to when God tells you, like, good job, my faithful servant.
Man.
Jose's ready to pass that test.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's like, even me talking about God, it gives me a lot of fear, because I'm still growing in it, and obviously people are going to take it one way or perceive it another, and I might be wrong, or in their eyes they might be wrong. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons when I really did this transition, I was like talking heavy about God, and the first thing that I got was like other Christians telling me how wrong I was. Yeah. And it's like you can be that, but you're not fully that, or you're doing it wrong. It's not that, but I feel like, even with like social media, like, again, right, we're all dying to ourselves. We all have our own, things that we struggle with, 100%. Maybe some of us struggle with the need to be right, or the need to try and X, Y, and Z. And so when I was speaking about my journey and my transition and how I even got closer to God, it was like, no, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Are we trying to encourage more people towards God, or are we trying to be right? You know? And I think that was one of the things that kind of made me falter a little bit and just kind of get deeper in my relationship with God first and really have a deeper understanding before I got out there and, kind of spoke a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it's because social media, and for everybody listening, I know there's a lot of them that fall victim of not being enough or not doing it right. So what happens? We end up not posting. So it's funny that we talk about this transition, and it, it's kind of, it's an interesting way, because when we met each other, it was about content, posting, intentional, doing A, B, and C. And now far ahead,
Which still is. It's just a time and a place.
far ahead, you fall into, because I'm a big advocate on, man, even if you're not having the best week, you got to post. You have to create something that's going to allow you to build opportunities for yourself, so this is all worth it at the end. If it's not something that it's not for you and just for shits and giggles, okay, cool. Do your time. But it's just like any entrepreneur. You're writing your own check. So if you know you can take a week off, great for you. But if you're writing your check this week and it depends on it, and you decide not to work, then why be mad that you get nothing out of return? But when you're so far into it, because you've been in this industry for years, we've been in now going into 5, and now we found ourselves, instead of just dropping content 3-4 times a day, times 2 on every platform, we got ourselves like, all right, we do it Monday to Thursday. Friday, we drop one more. After that, we're good. Yeah. We found what works for us. Yeah. But no one, and a lot of people have seen, man, we went through posting 3 times a day on 2 different platforms, so 6 times a day plus. So it was a lot more, but it was just like, people got to see you first. Yeah. If people have never seen you, then why should we listen to you? So you fall into the, how much can I give before I just run out of steam? But what's my purpose in it and the things that I'm posting? Because you can post fun, you can post the party scene, you can post all the different fun things, but how long can you do that for? Yeah. How long can you go into your own gas just runs out? Yeah.
I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation right now with my friend Jose. If you guys are loving it, make sure go hit that subscribe button. Again, this is our road to 100K subscribers. Only way to obtain that and get that is by you guys, our listeners, the people watching, showing us love and endless love by hitting that subscribe button. So, por favor, subscribe. Let's get back to the episode.
Maybe this is an episode we could do this on a little bit more, but it's like, can we actually tell the truth about social media and in the industry, and how, not specifically any name bombs, I promise, no name bombs.
You can say the names, we'll edit it out.
But how empty it is, and not just emotionally and spiritually, most of them, but also false promises of how many people come to you with big promises, with big visions, and, oh man, I could change your life, dude, da, 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 da. And then you leave that event or whatever mix or whatever you want to call it, no hay nada. So you being in the industry, because you went, I saw your post the other day, you went from being a videographer to a social media influencer, back to being a videographer, but business, like teaching others how to create. So in all 3 different lenses, what have you noticed about the industry and what social media is?
I mean, it's in any industry, right? You're always going to have, people that overpromise and underdeliver, music industry, the influencer space, you name it, it's always going to be part of the game. I mean, I remember when I first got started, one of the things that real estate agents would use to either get like a cheaper rate or get something done for free from my end, be like, oh, like I have a huge network, I'll refer you to so and so, and in my mind, I'm like, cool, like that would just open me up to like 10 other clients, only to realize that there was no referrals, I didn't get paid or none of that, right?
They weren't even agents.
Yeah, they weren't even selling anything. But it's just kind of the nature of the business, right? And obviously, the more experience that you have And the more situations like that you experience, it gives you like the awareness to understand that not everything is always as it looks. And so it gives you like the ability to be able to tell from, you know, what side, you know, it's coming from, and just kind of stay away. I mean, that's kind of the reason why I stay away from a lot of environments or events or stuff like that. Not because I feel that I'm better than anybody, but because I know that it really isn't moving the needle. You know, like in the real estate space, they do a lot of like networking events. They do like cocktail mixers, etc. And they're not really there to talk business. They're just there to just have drinks and chill. Exactly. And so I think that is the environment in a lot of categories. I think now with my social media, if in my social media I'm a reflection of somebody that can either help you, I don't know, speak to your people, or, you know, bring something of value to you, then we can have a conversation, and that conversation will probably be one-on-one on the phone or in person. So that's one of the things that I've been able to kind of now understand. It's not going to be in a massive environment where it's just drinking and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, I've been in a situation like that, and I've had gotten opportunities, because typically, like, there are going to be people that see you, but they'll never engage with you. They'll never like reach out to you until they see you in person. They're just like, oh, bro, I've been watching your content. And I'm like, bro, I didn't even know you were watching my stuff. And so that can create opportunities. But I think now with my personality, I'm more of like, let me just allow my social media to do the talking. And then if we are a good fit, then we can just kind of create that conversation.
Don't be a yes man because you think and people tell you this is the best opportunity for you. Not everything that you think it's for you is really for you. Yeah. I think we said it at this last event that we went to. Sometimes the things that don't work out worked out. Like however you look at it, because we've been to a few, and we love the people that we see because we interact with some of the same people and we built some great relationships. But there was one time I was in a conversation with someone that was trying to get into this industry, and I'm like, man, that's good. Just don't fall in love with the promises that they give you, because not everybody can deliver it. They're going to promise you the network, referrals, and they're going to hook you up with this person and this person. Truth be told, they don't even talk. Or truth be told, they have no power. They have no leverage in a sense. And what I found, what has worked for us, same thing with you, what you said. We built our platform. We work in silence. We show up. We show out. So when we go to an event, there's like now a checklist. Why are we going for? What's the purpose, sole purpose of it? What is the overall goal? Is this worth it? Because we got families, we have other things that to do in order to better us, and especially if you're a father or a parent, dealing with your kids. If I'm gonna leave my kids at home to go somewhere just to go and drink and party, I don't think I need to go, and especially if I know it's not gonna help us in any sort of way. But the other side to it is us going to certain places. We've met some good people that have already followed us. How you said, they already know who we are. It's just seeing us in person and build that connection. After that, they also got to know who we are, because you can only make a great first impression one time. And if that first interaction isn't what you thought, what do you expect on the second one or third one, right? So for us now, it's like, all right, we have this coming up. What do we do? All right, is it worth it? What are we getting out? Who are we gonna go meet? What's the overall goal? All right, cool. If it all works, cool. And if it doesn't work, there's always another one.
Thank you. No.
Yeah, thank you, but next time. And that's a conversation I've been having even with the guy from yesterday. Because so illusion, and there's a lot of people going into this industry that think, I'm gonna get into that mixer. Bro, I'm gonna get so much love, followers.
I'm gonna go viral,
bro. No one cares, and
most people stick to themselves. That's the sad part.
Yeah, and no one wants to see you do better than them. So what do? Oh yeah, bro, let's collab. Never hit you up, never tag you, never anything for the same reason of, nah, I don't want. You can't have one up on me. You know what I mean? So people end up in a dead end when they realize that everybody they thought was gonna help them never helped them.
Yeah.
So what do you get left with? You got to help yourself. So it's like if you don't have that
grit, I would say,
that factor in you to I got to make it out on my own, because I think you probably have been through it. I know Pepe, myself, people that lend you a hand sometimes on the other side have their own hands taken out and be like, all right, well, I helped you. Now you owe me. And it's like, whoa, like I didn't know that. Like that came with that. Why do I need that? Or they throw it in your face. I helped you, but you're only here because I did that for you. And you're here because I did that and you owe me now. So it's like, wait, so were you really helping me to help me out of your kindness of your heart? Or were you just helping me in order for you to say that you did this for me?
I think, I mean, I had totally opposite experiences, you know, in that, because I think when me and my family, we started kind of posting content on YouTube, there were people that were way bigger than us, like even in their prime, you know, helping us out, you know, like Benny and Alondra, us always, even Chris, like all these people that like were already there, they didn't care to share it with us, you know, they didn't. I've not once ever felt like, hey, you became what you became because of me. I've never gotten that from them. And there's been seasons, obviously, when we kind of like don't talk as much, seasons when we do talk. Yeah. Obviously, everybody has kids, so that obviously plays a big role. But I've never got that experience to where it's like, even I've, you know, always wanted to be there for them too, as well, as like a thank you for them helping us out, because they didn't have to, you know, even with like us always talk about this, like they barely knew us. They invited us over to their house. We stayed over at their house. They had us there. We were quote unquote nobody, you know, right? Yeah. But they were willing to open up the doors for us. And even to this day, they're the ones checking up on us. Hey, how are you guys doing? Hey, the kids are going to back to school. Let's do something before, you know, they get back to school. Hey, this, you know. So I've had the opposite experience. I'm not saying that there isn't that other side, because I feel like there is. I feel like for me personally, I just stick to the people that I know are there for the right reasons.
Yeah, we went on Tuesday because,
and for me, the opportunity is not bigger than the person that I'm trying to get there with.
Why do you think? Why do you think they were willing to help you guys, though? Especially in this world where, like he said, a lot of people like to gatekeep, and you know.
Well, I think for them, it's like, I think when you're filled, you're always gonna overflow, and that overflow doesn't hurt you or impact you because you have enough and you're grateful for what you have. Like, then there's that other side of people that, like, regardless of how much they have, it'll never, you know, be enough. And so if I help you, because one day I want you to, you know, do this for me, or one day I want to be able to say that I helped you, or I have that leverage over you. You know what I mean?
I would say those type of people have that light in their heart where they're like, man, I'm not here to gatekeep anything. If I got here, I want to help everybody else get here. Because it's always like, I mean, I think you do it perfectly in your winner circle where you give game, but in order to get the extras, like, they obviously got to pay to play, but it's different. Like, you know how much you can give to somebody, but we're in the same boat where
it's a commitment thing too.
Yeah,
you know?
bro.
Like, for me, I've invested tens of thousands of dollars into myself, right? And I know what that did for me. It removed the fear that I thought I had, because I'm like, what if I give this out and it never comes back? 100%. Every single time I gave it out, it always came back. You know, and that it builds this like character in you, and this like sense of responsibility and pressure that you do have to step up. You know, because I've had communities where they're like lower ticket, you know, some even for free, and people don't show up. You give them all the game, everything. They'll never once do one thing, ever.
You know who you are already. You know who you are.
No. And I mean, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, because I've done that too, where I'm going to sit here, and the conversation we have for the next 20 minutes, to me, it was so worth it because I gave you something. What you do after you leave here,
that's on you.
That's on you.
Yeah.
But 6 months later, I don't want to see how no one helped you, or life didn't help you out, or the right cars weren't dealt to you. It's like, no, it's you can always grab all the knowledge you want. But if you don't do nothing with the knowledge, do you really become the person you wanted to be, right? Yeah. It's like that person that knows how to do everything and knows and never created anything for themselves. They just, yo sé hacer eso, yo sé hacer. But it's like, man, if you know all this, why don't you help yourself? What? Like, there has to be something in your life that you really, really love, and you can always monetize. And you help yourself out at the same way. But it's always like, uno de negocio, no, mijo, no hagas eso. And it's always a person that has never done it. Yeah. That's never taken the chance.
Exactly.
Like, I think we're a great I would say example of what if this does work?
Mm-hmm.
If I spend
Exactly.
$1,000 today, it's $1,000,
Yeah.
but if it works, I chingamos.
Yeah, you're willing to bet on yourself.
Willing to. Yeah. Like, I mean, even
It's a
that's
character
fun.
thing too, bro. Because like, there is characteristics to like being successful in a shorter amount of time, or just being successful in general, right? Because everybody has a different perspective. It's like some people might see it as like, oh, somebody's charging you 1,000 to do this. Oh, that's expensive. I'm losing, right? Versus somebody else is like 1,000. That might be a little tight, but you know what? I know I'll make this work. I know it's an investment into myself. Boom, let me go do it.
And it's like our own head trying to make amends with it. Like $1,000 to learn something new that can make me maybe 10,000 later. I don't think so, but okay.
And
Let's go
sometimes
get a,
too,
let's
it's
go
like-
get a bottle for $500.
Yeah,
and then spend it on
exactly.
3 hours, and you can't even take it home.
Yeah, exactly. And I think more than anything, it's like a commitment issue with you stepping up to a person that you know you need to be and you've been avoiding to become. I think that's the biggest thing. Because for me, that's how it was at first too. Before I really like lost that fear of like investing into myself, I would see like $1,000 investment. I'm like, you know what? What if it doesn't work out? What if I know I'm not gonna do it? Because that's really what I was saying. It's like, do I really want to put myself through that? Do I really want to like step out of this comfort that I'm experiencing that's keeping me here? Because there's a big difference between like having pain, but then also being comfortable in that pain. And I'm not saying pain just in general, like physically or emotionally, but it's like you staying stuck in the same place year after year, right? There's also a pain that obviously helps you move past that. And that difference between who you are and who you want to be is painful because it's uncomfortable. It's you have to either be more vulnerable, know that you don't know it all, know that there is somebody that's better than you at doing something, and you have to be okay with being, you know, like, not, how do I say it, like a student of the game.
You have to be okay with being a nobody in a room full of of somebody. It's like, and it goes back to that conversation that you have with yourself in front of the mirror. Who are you? Are you good with yourself? Yeah. Are you sure of yourself? Yeah. Then what are you worried about?
Yeah.
Like, it in this timeline and just figuring myself out too, it's like I've always thought I needed to be accepted by everybody. I needed to be liked by everybody. I needed to look cool and successful, and I needed to everybody to think that of me. And if they didn't, how can I get there? And it makes you do things that you never imagined. You lead broke, you're empty inside, and when nobody's around you, you're not even that person. So at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, who are you? Are you proud? No. How can I change this? And it's like you can fake to be somebody, but how long is that going to last you? How much are you willing to give in order to be that version for the moment? Not forever, just for the moment. And it leads you nowhere, because if they liked you and that's not even who you are you afraid that the real person that you are they not going to be around you?
Exactly.
It's not that. So it's like, it's as funny as being at the
You're being
club.
loved for who you're not.
Yeah, like it's funny as being in the club pretending you got it like that, and you get a girl that's all in love with that vision of, or that version of you. The moment you go back Monday, you're not that. And it's like, oh, well, she got to know who I am and she doesn't. It's like, bro, like, you don't even love yourself. How the F do you expect for someone to love you who you are and you don't even love yourself now? So when you look in the mirror, are you proud of the man that you are now?
Yeah, 100%. I think I am. You know, now I am. Obviously, there's been seasons where I thought I was because I hadn't yet dug deep enough. But I think now I am. Obviously, now I understand that I have a bigger purpose than what I was expecting. You know, and obviously, just seeing the little things that maybe I was ignoring. You know, like something as simple as having a family that loves you, and I generally mean you having a deep understanding of what that means. Family that loves you. My kids are healthy. If I was to stay, we were having this conversation the other day with my brother-in-law. We're all like the four of us just sitting, you know, talking, and if the question was basically like, if you were to stay here where you're at today, if nothing else changed, if you didn't grow, if you didn't any of that, would you be happy? And I was like, yes, because even though I want more, I have everything that I need. I have my family, my bills are paid, I'm able to fill up my gas tank, I'm able to buy my groceries, like the things that we need for like immediate survival, right? But deeper than that is like my kids are healthy. You know, my wife loves me. Like we're getting closer to God. I feel like there's nothing more beautiful than that. You know, so I would say yes, 100%. But I'm always gonna be, you know, a work in progress. You know, to, you know, the other question to that was like, if I had to, yes, 100%. If God was to tell me like, this is where you're gonna be, this is where you're capped because your message and your purpose is in here, 100%. But me and my nature, I'm a builder. You know, I have a vision. You know, I think that's one of my gifts. I have the capacity to, regardless of my current environment, situation, or circumstances, I'm able to see further. And so since I have that, I'm always naturally going to go and try to build, try to hunt, etc. And so that's always going to be something that fills me and gives me life too as well.
So what do you think that purpose is? What do you think your purpose is?
I'm barely scratching that surface. I generally, I know it has something to do with, you know, social media, not social media itself, but the my ability to be able to speak to the masses in that sense, right? And being a representation of what it is to be more Christ-like in a sense. I think bringing more people closer to God more than just myself. It's a byproduct of it. I still have to really understand what that end goal is going to be, you know, because it's always evolving. It's never like a one thing. It's never ending. It's always evolving. And I think the more that I have an understanding, like even stuff that obviously I won't share on camera, but like more, not personal, but more like behind the scenes stuff. There's so many things in my life that I've been kind of reflecting on and paying attention to the little details, the little hints that God was giving me throughout the way. And I'm like, okay, now I understand why I did this. Now I see why you gave me the discernment to look this way, to, you know, have this perspective to, there's so many little intricate, like all I have right now is pieces of a puzzle that are yet to be completed. So I can't specifically say this is my purpose, but I'm just trying to walk in the best of my ability and moving with a lot less fear while doing so, because that's also like a crutch that I've noticed that I had. I knew who I was behind the scenes, but I wasn't comfortable with putting that out there in a sense. Exactly. Because if you really think about it, you know, kind of going back to what you were saying, like we all play this character, right? And that character isn't always a bad thing, but it boils down to maybe being liked. You know, maybe you were ignored, you know, as a child, right? And so obviously that created some sort of trauma or this like characteristic that you don't even know you do, right? And so I started, you know, obviously once I started getting closer to God, it's like that phrase, like, you know, you can't try to be perfect, because even if you were, like, you know, we crucified a perfect man, you know, and like, look what happened to him, you know? And so I think now with that understanding, it's like, okay, I'm just going to move in my direction. There is going to come opposition. And so now I expect it. There are going to people that are going to see these clips and be like, who does this guy think he is? You know, he just started, you know, walking with God, like, you know, whatever, right? Or he said this wrong. Or sometimes people hear what they want to hear to...
There's always going to be a negative connotation or a negative view on the way you do things. And that's inevitable in this today day in life, because no matter
Every
how much
day,
you move,
people think that the crucifixion died or ended, you know, during Jesus' time. But now with social media, there is somebody being crucified every single day, like every minute, every hour. Somebody does something, cancel that person.
it's
So and so this, we're gonna go and destroy their business.
They say the wrong thing.
Exactly.
It's you. If you live that way, you're gonna walk on eggshells for the rest of your life, and it's hard. Obviously, we're all mindful of what we do, what we say, and how we say it. And a lot of us know the repercussions to everything we do, but we choose to ignore it. So the moment the repercussion does come, we're all surprised. I'm like, I never expected. No, you did. You knew that's a possibility, and you still went ahead and you did it. Before we get too far left on this conversation, I had a question that just sparked up. And off of exactly what we were just talking about. If God told you, He gave you a choice, if you can stay here for the rest of your life in this position, you have everything you have, and nothing's ever going to change. This is the way it's going to be. Or are you willing to take a chance to better your life, better your situation, but you run the risk of all the little bad things that could happen, right? Like the little problems that can happen inside of family, inside of fatherhood, inside of business. What would you do?
Well, I think there's a missing portion to that, right? If it's coming from him, both scenarios, that's what you're asking?
Yeah.
So staying here, staying comfortable, staying in peace, or continue to build. Challenges are going to come.
And go through the growing
go through the
pains
pain.
of building.
If that isn't my purpose, I would 100% do it. And I think maybe that's my ignorance, right? Because I don't know what comes with that.
Yeah.
That's
It's because I think everybody plays it safe, right?
Well, it's not just that. Like, it's kind of going back to what I was saying, right? Saying that you're Christian or that you're walking with Christ, it's a very deep description.
100%.
Because you don't really understand what the full complexity of that is. You know, if you really look at the Bible, you know, when they were testing, one of the people in the Bible, they took his family, took his children, lost everything, and he still continued to walk with God. So you don't know what that extent of that is, right? And so obviously us naively, we can say like, yeah, I would do this, I would do X, Y, and Z. I mean, even look at the Christians that, have been beheaded in certain places of the world recently, like, would you die for Christ like that? It's like me asking you, like, if you love God, if somebody was to, like, chop your head off right now because you believe in God, would you go through with it or would you deny him? It's easy to say, oh, I would go through with it, right? Until the moment comes. But I think if God wants you to go down a specific path, he is going to give you everything that you need to be able to go through that. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I would like to say that I would want to go through that path. And I mean, this is a perfect example, like me sharing and talking so much about him, because it's like, I don't know, there's always opposition to anything, and it is a spiritual battle, and so because of that, I just pray that he gives me the strength and the ability to be able to carry the cross that he needs me to carry, to be more a representation of, what he wants to show the world through me, like being more with my boy, my lady, and everything. And in the back of my mind, it's gonna sound crazy, right? But I'm always hearing like, it's already taken care of. So it gives me that peace of mind, because before, when I started kind of like transitioning, I was like, you know what, like, let me just go. And then I wouldn't see an outcome. Yeah. I'm like, why am I going? And I don't see an outcome, right? And then it slowly started like slowing down, or not slowing down, but like not trying to force things. Yeah. And when I surrendered and I stopped forcing things, that's when more things came. Yeah. And I started to get more than I was expecting. And so I think that's also a great reminder of like, there is going to be seasons where you are going to have to hustle to kind of break through or build a foundation. But then after that, your whole reliance is on him. And everything is going to happen when it needs to happen and how it needs to. Yeah. And even with you feeling like you're not doing anything or you're doing less, you're moving more. Yeah. And that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. But again, it's like
doing less and moving. Yeah.
Because you're allowing him to do what he has already, written in your life.
I think a great, just because we asked it right now, you being an entrepreneur, working on yourself, always wanting to better taking care of your family, how do you find the balance of being an entrepreneur, the head of household, going to grind and work, but also find the time and the balance to be a husband and a father?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like seasons. Like I told you, there's a season for you to grind and establish something. And there is a season when, at least for me, this is kind of how it went. I started God started putting it in my direction of like, hey, it's family time now. Like, spend more time with your son. This and that, right? And so I wouldn't say it was like a forceful thing, but it's more of like, I got eased into that now, But even in that process, because one of the things that I struggled with was like surrendering. Yeah. I've always felt like I needed to prove something, because my whole entire life growing up was like, you're never going to be anybody. You're never going to be anything without me. That I like my surroundings and everything. And so because of that, I feel like I built this like mechanism to where it's like I always have to feel like I'm doing something, because that's what helps me cope with my not feeling enough. Right. And so in this season of like surrendering, I'm starting to understand like, hey, it's okay to let go, and I'm not the one in control. And now that I'm spending more time with my family, my daughter is even getting more into the word. My little nephew is, understanding that a little bit more. My son is wanting to play more with me. So because of that, I have that understanding of like, there's a season and there's a time. I'm not saying that I'm not doing what I need to do. I'm still doing that, but I'm not trying to go 99.9% into growth and 0.1% to my family. Now it's like a lot more time with my family, and then a portion, to the business.
Oh man, that's.
But that obviously it helps too when you have a team, right?
Yeah.
Because when you have a team, like for example, I have a team of guys that help me with my setting. So it's like they have access to my full Instagram account, and they're just opening up conversations with ICP, which is our ideal client profile, like our potential client that could be, right? This because it's videographers. So they're going in DMs, opening up conversations, booking calls. I'm getting on these calls, closing the clients, etc. So that helps with me having to do that myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, I have an ad running. Ad running brings in more traffic to the page, and they do the rest of the work. All I have to do is, when it's time to hop on calls, I'm on calls.
Yeah.
When it's time to obviously do the service for the clients, I go in and do the service for the clients. But for the most part, the editing team takes care of that, and then the setting team does everything else.
Learning how to dish things off when you need to, because you can only be a one-man band for so long, and you can do it forever, but you can also limit the growth because you can't be everywhere at one time. And I think we talked about this one of the last times in the phone call. We don't got to get into it, but also trusting someone with the ability to do work for you, and then at the end of the day disappoint you in a way where you're kind of like, damn, bro, like I trusted you. I knew you had everything in you, and this is where we're at now. So for a familiar face turns into who are you, or what do you want type of thing.
Or betrayal.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the hard things about business, because that's a given. The most successful people, that's why they don't trust a lot of people, because they've been betrayed by the people that they love the most and trusted the most, But, you still have to not lose yourself in that process, because my lady actually brought this up. Obviously I had a recent situation too as well with a team member. And for me, I felt like I handled it pretty well, and I didn't shell up how I normally do. Or close up, you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, not that. I just isolate myself a lot when things like that happen.
I feel you on that. Same. Same.
And in my mind, I'm like, I handled it pretty well, I didn't, I'm still open with everybody, and, I'm not shelling up. And then she was like, nope. As soon as that happened, he's like, you probably might not have seen it. She was like, but you still held back from talking to certain people, because now you're scared of, are they going to betray you too? Are they going to hurt you too? And so it's part of the game, but you can't allow for it to change who you are, and have empathy and realize that it's just part of the story. It's part of that process. And, I always reflect back to this. We were just watching, I forget the movie that we were watching, but it was, faith-based too, watching with the family. And Jesus tells Peter, hey, you're going to deny me 3 times. And he was like, no, I won't, this, and that. And obviously that ends up happening. But he also told him, I know that this is going to happen, but know that you're going to leave. But when you come back, you're going to be so on fire that you're going to lead your brothers and sisters, to have a bigger purpose. And so, maybe that's these people's seasons in their life where it's they have, maybe something's going on in their personal life and their mental, and, their environment, where they might make decisions that affect you. But at the same time, they were meant to go to that to learn something, And I think this is the hardest one, bro. If you watch the Last Supper, not watch the Last Supper, but the portion of the Last Supper, what did Jesus do? And this, bro, hit me so heavy. he knew Judas was going to betray him. He was going to sell him. He knew that every single person that was there that he loved the most, witnessed everything that he had done, were going to betray him. And he still washed their feet. Think about how heavy that is. For you to know that this person is, put X, Y, and Z into that. This person is going to do X thing to you. It's going to steal money from you. It's going to steal a brand or say this about you or whatever, right? And you still show God's grace through that. It's so extremely difficult, bro. But those are one of the things that I think, I want to build towards that, like to aspire to that. But how do you aspire and how you get to that is by going through those experiences more often.
Yeah. It's man,
because you lead with your heart. And I feel like that's why obviously it's a little bit more challenging for you than it is for most people.
I love the quote of Big Pepe over here. It's like, if you stop expecting, you won't get let down. But the twist to it, it's you also have to realize that a lot of people that are in your life that you expect to show up for you in a way that you want them to, you're giving them a responsibility that they can't live up to.
Exactly.
Like you've gotten the signs, you've gotten hints that you know what, like I know we can grow into it, but in reality, they're not that. You want them to become that, and it's all in good faith, it's all in good intention, but they don't want it. They can't become that. So why, when they don't show up for you the way you want them to, why do you keep getting mad that they're not? Yeah. And it's like you set that expectation that's impossible. You're expecting them to.
And you knew it already.
Yeah, they're not telling you how they could show up.
They were transparent right off the get-go.
Chose to ignore it.
Yeah, you chose to ignore it. And even sometimes where they don't tell you, but you see it already, and it's like, we're adult. Let's be real with each other. Can you or can you not? It's not that, like how you said, maybe after this, we don't talk. Maybe there's something that I got to grow in or you got to grow in, but it's like, let's be honest. If there's something we cannot do no more, especially if we're working together, why keep prolonging it when we're saving up the hurt to just bottle up, to just explode? Yeah. It's like, nah, we can't, especially now, like transparency is always key. And it's like, hey, this is what I expect. This is what I want, but you tell me how you can show up. Mm-hmm. And if you tell me very, very clear how you can show up, I'll tell you if that's acceptable for me. If it's not, no harm done. It's good. Mm-hmm. We'll be okay. But at least we both know what we are both showing up with, Yeah. So, I mean, that's relationship, friendships, business, and anything. I think we said it yesterday on an episode, or the last week's episode, where it was like, don't become that person for somebody knowing you cannot stay that way, or don't be introduced to somebody's life knowing you cannot become the thing that they want you to be. And it can be in everything. It could be being a best friend. It could be a love partner. And if you're just not ready to be in somebody's life in that way, shape, or form, don't pretend like you can be and then let them down or hurt them at the end of the day. So
yeah, but think about this, right? I think it's so complex because that's the rules of
life,
earth, right? Like earthly life, right?
100%.
But what are the commandments? Like that's a whole different, perspective, because I've been in situations, bro, where like I now know what it means, right? Yeah. There were situations where I was like, let's say a friend does something, and then all of a sudden, bro, like the people that they were kind of beefing with or having differences with do the exact same thing. There is no way that this person would know that this person was gonna do it, but now all of a sudden it looks like this person copied that person or X, Y, and Z, right? That is the enemy working, because that is deception and division, which is obviously his strength, right? And so what if the people that you were assigned to lead and encourage, respecting all their flaws, are meant to go through life with you, regardless of whether they do live up to your expectation or not? Yeah. And obviously it's so much complex in that, because it's not as black and white. Mm-hmm. But again, going back to Jesus, right? We don't meet his expectations every single day, ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's perfect. Like we're imperfect, and he still loves us. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's so complex to even call yourself a Christian or to be Christ-like, because we can't live up to that expectation. So we're all flawed and we're all falling short of, and we're hurting the person that loves us the most in the purest form. So what do you expect us from human to human interactions, right? Obviously, it's easier said than done, and to have the understanding and to truly live it, whole different dynamic, right? But I think if you have that understanding or that seed in you, you'll kind of live life with more understanding and grace, because it's not that that person wanted to hurt you or wanted to let you down. It's just that they didn't know any better, or that's just who they are, right? And again, like I said, it's much more complex than that, and it's not as easy as I'm saying it, because I still fall short. People say something, or I'm a very hyper aware person. Like, I'll analyze the smallest patterns without anybody saying anything, and
See
I
that?
know the type of person that
feel
you
you.
are, or X, Y, and Z. I notice things that push me away from specific people, and they're just like, oh, this guy's like, he's very to himself, or whatever they have, whatever idea they have of their mind of me. But it isn't because of that. It's just I'm just so aware that I see the things that you don't say, or
Jose looks at all the red flags, green flags, analyzes them, breaks them down.
like, I'll tell you this. This is why I have such a hard time with my birthdays, right?
Okay.
Because when people want to surprise me, I already know. It's bad, bro. It's really bad. So even my mom, she called me the other day. She was like, hey, like, this en tu casa, this and that. She's like, ya tengo tu regalo. She's like, I want to drop it off to you. Que el otro. I'm like, okay. And still in my mind, I'm not thinking of it. I'm just like, oh, like, I'm trying to allow myself to enjoy and know what it feels like to be surprised, genuinely, right? And so I'm trying to, like, not let my brain, go into like, like, ¿cómo se llama what's his name? The guy from Marvel,
Oh,
Doctor
Iron Man?
Strange, right?
Oh,
He's like looking into all the positive. That's me, bro, in my mind, my brain. And so my lady's like, oh, you don't know what it is. Like, I feel like you're just generally gonna be surprised. She's like, and in my mind, I'm like,
They already talked about
it's
it.
this, it was that, and it's like, it's obviously a double-edged sword, right?
Oh, you're picturing Jose. Oh my God.
I was like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's hard. Yeah, bro, because yeah.
there's kind of wrap up questions on this one, but you wear many hats in your life. You are a father, you're a husband, an entrepreneur, a friend, a sibling, a brother. What do you, at the end of your whole story, your whole life story, what do you wish to be remembered as?
Man, I mean, going back to everything that we've been saying, I think just that I try to live Christ-like. I think obviously I have a lot of flaws, in my life and in my story, and a lot of mistakes that I've made. But there is redemption, and there is obviously, you have an understanding of you can make improvements and you can be better. So yeah, I would say just more, trying to be more Christ-like. Because again, I think in that responsibility of you living in that way in such discipline, it's not just an honor to God, but it's also part of our story, and understanding that we are not of this world, and these things that we might give praise and value to because of conditioning, propaganda, and the things that we give value to aren't really what they seem they are. And this whole entire time we're just missing the entire point. So I would say that for sure. Obviously, I want to be, by you having that as the mark, everything else just falls into place, because from trying to hit that mark, you're going to be a great dad, you're going to be a great friend, you're going to be a great leader, you're going to be a great friend, you're going to be an example overall. And again, I want to make this very clear, right? Because I know it's one thing to say it and another thing to live it.
100%.
So I just want to try my best and give it the best shot that I can.
Now, for the people that don't know, and it's a little touchy subject to bring up, but I think it's a great ending to it. You dealt with grief in your life. you lost your brother very early on. In your relationship now with God and where you stand with your career, your family, what what advice do you think your brother would tell you, and what would you want your brother to know?
Man, that's a heavy one. Um, mm, I would say his word of advice probably just be more like just do, you know? My brother was very opposite of me. I was always very shy, very timid. You know, I had to grow into this version of myself now, right? But it's taking so many years, and I still feel like I have a lot of work to do. But he was just naturally that, you know, he was just naturally out there. Like he didn't have a care in the world. Like he just, you know, maybe have a little bit more of that, you know, and I feel like that would be his advice to me. And what was the other question?
Right now, where you stand, what would you want your brother to know? Like, what's a message you would want to tell him?
Um,
Like,
I don't
this
know.
is a summary of everything you have done, and you see your brother. Because I have vivid dreams of like my past ones, and it's like I just want you to know this.
I think one of the things that I always like carried, you know, heavy because obviously I was a kid, right? I didn't know any better, but I always carried that like I didn't get the chance to tell my brother that I loved him, you know. Like I know he knew, but at the same time you kind of have that like little thing of like I just wish I could have just said it because it would have meant so much more, you know, for us. But I'm pretty sure he knows that, and I think I'm better with that now, you know. So I would say, you know, hope he knows that I love him, that I miss him, and that I'm hoping that I'm making him proud, you know, because I know he loved mom. Like obviously, me and my mom had like a challenging relationship, not because she didn't love me or I didn't love my mom. It's just the situations, right? You know, she lost her child. Obviously, prior to that, right, she was already dealing with chemo, realizing that you know he had cancer, going through the whole process. Then you know the situation with her and my dad, and then her having to go in survival mode. Her being told, you know, from my dad's side of the family that it was her fault that my brother had that. Um, all these things that you know she had to just you know face on like overnight, and so that kind of created like you know she wasn't the best at communicating. You know, I'm pretty sure she didn't know how plus carrying the weight of
She went into the turtle mode too.
yeah, she went to the like having to care for me, not having my dad around, going from two incomes to a single income, having to survive in a country that's not, you know, her native home. Um, so I'm pretty sure she just did the best with what she could. Obviously, now that I'm older, I understand that because I'm a dad too. But now seeing the relationship that me and my mom are building, like I'm hope, you know, he's proud of that now that we're, you know, getting closer and spending more time and, you know, just yeah, I would say that.
I think this was the episode that I already knew, and I told them I was like, it's gonna be purposeful and intentional. Like the last one that we did, and I hope everybody want to go watch it. It was fun. It was high energy, but it was real life stuff that we still talk about. This one, like I had this thought 3 days ago, and I was like, I'm gonna hit him from left field and start off with a prayer. Never do it. We never ask of it. And I was like, nah, this is it. This is the one I got to start with. And the way all this translated into the conversation we just had, I knew it was right. I
It's
knew it
meant
was
to
right.
be. And you know, the crazy thing is probably something you didn't know. Like I'm very uncomfortable with doing things like that because I still feel like I'm so new.
Yeah.
You know, and so like leading in prayer is like you learn. You know, the more that you do it and the more that you practice it. So I was like, oh snap! But
I saw it was a video of Ray Lewis, and a little girl went up to him and asked him, "Can you pray for me?" And I was like, "Damn, that's powerful." You know, and it was I think off of Mr. B's video interview, he was like, obviously you get the negative connotation. Why record that and put it out there? When he like helps out people and gives money, he was like, I'm only able to help out and give money because I put it out there. So if we don't do this, we don't spread the message, we don't bring up the topics and create the content, then all those people that are looking for answers, looking to relate to somebody, looking to lean on somebody, even if they don't know them, but their message was heard, you know.
and I think you know this is a message for everybody watching this. It's like that thing that's giving you fears, insecurities, hesitations, maybe you overthink it, all those are the exact door that you need to go through to realize your purpose and your passion. And that is your gift, right? Because like I said, right, I was super shy growing up, very insecure, this and that. But until I went through it, and I, obviously I think fitness was something that helped me like kind of rewire my way of thinking. Then that ultimately evolved into all of this. And none of this would even be possible if I hadn't gone through that. I think our gifts and our talents are hitting in the things that we struggle with the most. It's like, I'm pretty sure maybe you dealt with, I don't know, X, Y, and Z, but look at how many people you're speaking to now. You're speaking to millions, to the masses, like you as well. It's like all of the things that you went through, experience, had difficulties with are now the exact same reason as to why you're able to impact, millions of people. And so if you want to escape depression, obviously, get into the word, but at the same time, it's also like walking your purpose and go against the things that make you feel uncomfortable, that you want to do and aspire to do. That's where your gift and your fulfillment lies in, and, I'll share this kind of like little story, right? My sister-in-law, she's starting to get into content. And so she said, like, my biggest fear is going live. And for obviously she has her own reasons why, right? And we're all like, well, why don't you do it? Because maybe that is how you blow up, or that is how you just take it to a career or whatever, right? And so it's the same thing with everybody else. It's like the same thing that you're overthinking or hesitating. Just do it. And in those steps, you're going to get more clarity and more understanding of how to move and what next step to take. Because you guys didn't start off with hundreds of thousands of followers. You guys just posted a video, and then, dang, the imperfect stuff or just something that happened randomly blew up.
And we lead to this where we're in San Diego, we're having a conversation, and taking that leap of faith 3 years ago into what it is now. It's like our biggest rewards have always been when we took in chances.
Yeah.
And however it plays out, wherever it comes out with it, that's what it's meant to be. And it's a learning curve. So,
what do you think, Pepe? I want to hear what Pepe says, because Pepe's kind of like me. When I'm in environments where I'm like taking analysis of everything that's being said, I reserve. It's not that I'm quiet, but I'm analyzing everything.
Oh, for sure.
So I know that exactly. So I know you have something powerful.
The words that we spoke, we're speaking into Pepe right now.
No, honestly, you guys say it jokingly, but yeah, I feel like everything you guys have been talking about today, it's like literally from faith to talking about, I guess, people letting you down and everything. I'm just like, damn, that's life literally right now. These past couple of weeks, past couple of months, it's one of those things where I've been trying to, I guess, find my faith, right? But little things here and there, I guess, have just been happening that at the same time, it's like, all right, cool. It's going good. And then it's like one step forward, two step back type of thing right now. So it's hard to believe, right? But it was just funny because yesterday he was like, oh, we're gonna go and we're gonna film with Jose. And you know what? I'm gonna tell him to lead with prayer. And the fact that you led with prayer at the beginning, I'm like, damn, this is different. Like, this feels nice. Like, honestly, it was just peaceful right at the beginning. So it was one of those where like, damn, I kind of needed this. It was just a little reminder, like, okay, just because I don't think he's here doesn't mean he's not here.
And I think that his absence is also an understanding of, I think a lot of times, like, when we think that God is absent, is because we think there needs to be like either like a physical feeling or like this sense that makes us feel like he's there. I saw this image a while back that says when you don't feel God is because that's when he's in control. A lot of times we feel like we need to feel like, oh, he's here or this and that. Yeah. It's not like that. In the seasons in which he's quiet, that is when he is with you the most, because that's when he's building that character in you and the things that you need to go through and experience, so that whenever you break free from those things, you're able to have a conversation that people can understand. Because like, it's so intricate, right? I always say it's so difficult to pinpoint why some people are wise or why something just makes so much sense. But that's because they've been in those experiences and in those moments that give them the capacity to be able to break it down in a way as if they were speaking to that version of themselves back in the day. And so I think since you're going through this season, it's like, okay, you feel like you were alone, you felt like he wasn't there, and then once that season, is done, you're gonna be able to speak in a way where it just makes so much sense and clarity, as if you were speaking to like a 5-year-old.
That's the Tulsa Life podcast.
The most authentic,
Most organic podcast out here, brother.
Love you, bro. You
Thank
already
you,
know
bro.
that.
I love you to death, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure you guys comment, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.